Step into the world of the Superpro podcast, where we lay out the blueprints of home service excellence. Join us as we break down the wins and struggles of pros who are at the top of their game. Put their wisdom into practice as you build your company's success. In this episode, Roland Leitenberg, co-founder and senior vice president of innovation at Housecall Pro, interviews Brett Conklin, co-owner of Chimney Monkey in Chicago. Brett breaks down the operational side of the business. This includes the ever-important hiring and training of employees. He also talks about the advancements in the fireplace and chimney industry and the marketing strategies he's used to reach more customers. Brett highlights underrated features of Housecall Pro's software, like service plans, and offers advice for other business owners. Let's dive into
Hey everybody,
today's
how's it
episode
going?
and uncover the
My name is
secrets to
Roland
success
Leitenberg.
in
I am
home
one of the
service industry.
co-founders of Housecall Pro. We are on the Superpro podcast today, and we're lucky to have Brett, who's a co-owner over at Chimney Monkey. He's been using Housecall Pro for a little bit here, and we're going to ask him all kinds of questions, both about his business, some tips and tricks that he's got there, the industry as a whole, and maybe some extra things you might not know about Housecall Pro that he knows and we don't, or you don't yet. So that's our goal. Thanks so much for coming on today, Brett. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Chimney Monkey. How'd you get started? How long has Chimney Monkey been in business? What was kind of your partner's vision starting down this path?
So Chimney Monkey itself has been around since 2017, March 1st, his birthday. The founder, he's a serial entrepreneur. So he started dryer vent stuff, kind of moved into the chimney industry, saw it was still a need, even though there's quite a few chimney companies. We're based out in North Shore, Chicago. So in the Chicago area, there's a lot of chimney companies. There's also over 10 million chimneys. So plenty of work for everybody. So I came on with the company in 21. I'm friends with the founder. He basically had grown the company leaps and bounds and got to the point where he needed somebody to come in and kind of help on the back end office stuff, processes and software and things like that. So that's where I come in.
Nice.
Everything's a process in life, and it can all be documented and improved upon. So that's where that's my niche in the business.
The operational side, yeah, the systems, the processes, the operations, and how big is the business? How many folks are out on the road? How many employees? What's the kind of revenue looking like? What are the goals?
So our models in our industry, some people use this similar model. We have 6 trucks as part of the core company for our inspections, sweeps, some minor repairs, installs, and then we subcontract out a lot of the big masonry repairs. So we have, depending on the time of year, 2 to 4 different sub companies we bring in for the bigger jobs and the rebuilds. So revenue wise, last year was a big year for us. We crossed over the 2 million mark gross revenue. Let's not talk that, because that's the ugly one to look into. But so I mean, in the chimney industry, that's a pretty decent sized company. You go from smaller companies, and then there's kind of a gap, and then there's only a few really large chimney companies in the nation. The industry's pretty young as far as in this country. You're looking at late 70s is when the chimney sweep industry really kind of started growing. So not a whole lot of time compared to plumbing and those kind of companies. So
That's right. What drew you to just the industry overall? You could probably do a lot of different things, and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is the industry I'm getting into. This is why. Why is that?
Well, for me, it was a matter of I spent the majority of my career in the intelligence community, government contracting, military. Kind of had enough of that, so I went into on the software side and process. Like I said, went in the mortgage software industry, did that for a few years, and that was not a good fit. So when Art started talking to me about coming over, quite honestly, the industry was interesting to me just because nobody really thinks about fireplace and chimney, industry, the chimney sweeps and repairs. Quite a bit more technical to it than you would think. It's not the Mary Poppins floating around sweeping chimneys thing anymore. So when I came in, it was just process and business things. But as I learned more, the industry is really great. As a trade industry, we're probably one that have what I've seen the best camaraderie across companies all over the nation. Everything, people drop what they're doing to go help out a quote competitor, just because it's what the industry needs. So not only do I get to do technical stuff specifically around, there's a lot of electronics and gas and things like that in it. The science of a chimney is pretty amazing when you sit down and actually look at what all has to work right for it to work properly. So there's still a lot of that technical brain teaser stuff for me in the actual business side, actual the field side, as well as just all the stuff you have to do to run a business. And working for yourself definitely beats working for somebody else. So there's always that bonus.
I think that's a huge commonality between all our pros. Someone has worked for someone at some point and they're like, you know what, we're going to go work for ourselves here. Maybe more longer hours, right? You're going to work a lot more hours, but you get to control what you work on, which is the autonomy is very satisfying for sure.
Absolutely.
So you've got employees. Are you finding people to hire that have come from kind of the fireplace and chimney industry, or are these people that you're training from scratch? Is this something where you got to build a whole program to get someone from zero to hero, or are you able to kind of pluck people off the street and just,
Not really. It's a small enough industry. You can luck out and maybe somebody moves into your area. There are those that would poach from other companies. I wouldn't poach. If somebody approached me, we'd have a discussion. But by and large, most of our people start with nothing, not having any idea of anything about fireplaces other than maybe have seen them. Some of them not even in person, just in TV shows. So yeah, you have to work on training up. And again, the industry is great. There's all kinds of, there's National Chimney Sweep Guild. There's some of the vendors run training academies. Over the last, granted, I've only been in, just over 2 years, but just talking to people over the last 5 to 10 years, the amount of education that's available for our industry has just grown exponentially. There's all kinds of training and classes. There's just mentors, people that will just come in and help you out or answer your questions and call. So internally, we have our training program, and then we leverage all of these other training classes and all that to get everybody up to speed. And it's not a learn once and walk away either. It's a continual education. So even if you think you know it, you go to again and you learn something different or new that you didn't know from the last time you studied it. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You would think something as old as fireplace and chimneys, there's nothing new, but there's always something more to learn, something, a new development or a new discovery, maybe a new unit came out and they're testing it different, so you have to install things a little different. It's always something new.
Yeah, it's interesting. As a consumer, I don't know that much about fireplaces, but we have like a wood burning one that was converted to a gas burning one. And then I just saw my brother's one, which, they just installed a new one, and it's, gas, but it literally has like, when wood breaks and it has that snap and that sparkle, and there's like sparkles and stuff coming from it. And then he's got to like refill it with whatever the thing is that does that. Like, I didn't know this was this complicated, but it looks really freaking cool.
Electric's getting better and better. There's water vapor ones you can see in restaurants that looks exactly like fire, but you can put your hand in it. There's the manufacturers are continually improving on things. You have the old standards, and they work great, but there's always something more improvements you can do. Or some of them are reviving stuff that's old and forgotten, styles of fireboxes, things like that are re-emerging and coming out too. So it's great.
That sounds like a fun industry. Talking about your business, how are most people finding out about your company? What are the lead sources? Where are you investing? Where does paid marketing dollars go? What does that look like for a company of your size?
Well, when Art's kind of like a SEO online marketing genius. He learned over the years for the thing. So that's how he built the company. So up to this last year, pretty much been SEO passive marketing. Somebody's looking for fireplace, chimney sweep, all that, they'll find us. With the economy shift everybody started seeing, we started doing a little more proactive marketing this year. Still a small amount, playing with Facebook ads, taken though to a very scientific approach. I've seen a lot of people that just blasting it out there. I'm getting advertisements for companies, on both coasts, and I'm in the middle. So we've been taking a very targeted approach for that, as well as getting a little bit in print media, some local magazines and things. So our marketing spend is pretty small compared to a lot of people put out there. We just haven't had the need to at this point. We're still busy, still doing well this year. If we could take on too much more work, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, it's we haven't really put the big spend. I know a lot of people talk huge amounts of money on marketing. We just have not had to do that yet. But we are dabbling in other stuff, even reviving door knocking. Just sending a technician out for people that are missing rain caps. Have a flyer about what rain caps are, why they're important, offer a special, all that, which has been mildly successful. We haven't done a bunch of it because we've been busy enough. I didn't want to pull them away from other jobs to do it. So we actually push that from roofing industry. I know it's door knocking is big for them. Talked to some people on that, and they mentioned, we're like, hey, let's give it a try. And it's been successful. If we really put a lot of effort into it, I think we could build it up. I just haven't had the need just yet.
Yeah, I think for businesses that are listening that are like an exterior set of services, door knocking is really successful because it's easy to point out certain things that you notice or flaws, right? It's a little harder to do it if you're like plumbing, HVAC, where you got to be like inside of a home or the side of the home where you're not supposed to be. But I remember in college, my painting business, door knocking was the number one source of business because you literally walk up to someone's home and go, I noticed a little bit of crack in your paint right there in the fascia board. Do you want me to fix that? It's super relevant, contextual, and face-to-face. It's pretty easy to close sales. But your guys' website looks phenomenal. Obviously, you've done a good job at making sure that it ranks highly, and it makes total sense. You guys have online booking set up, which is really neat. I think you guys have multiple contact points, which is exactly what today's customers are looking for. You're doing a lot of the things right, and it's very obvious you guys have done well so far on that. Tell me a little bit more about, at what point, in Chimney Monkey's life, was there like a pain that caused you guys to go, we need something like Housecall Pro to help us? Like what was that? What was that like aha moment, or that moment where you're like, enough's enough. We got to get some process and some things going here and organize. What does that look like?
So we went to Housecall Pro in 2018. So within a year of starting the business or so, basically boiled down to is, at the time, Art's trying to run the business and do the work, right? So he's answering the phone, trying to schedule stuff, notepads, you know how that goes. So you don't give somebody a call back and it goes bad. So he looked around the time of various softwares, and Housecall was the best he found at that time to fit what he needed. And we've grown with Housecall, and Housecall has grown with us. I think that's the thing is one of the big things for trade industries that, people need to really think about is you need somebody answering the phone. But also now with all these other channels, online booking is great. I love sitting down at dinner and hear a ding and know, just got another job. I didn't have to pay anybody anything to get that job on the books. It's just sitting out there. So all that ability, and then all the notifications that Housecall sends out to people, that we get lots of people saying, that's great, thank you very much. The text on my way and the job schedule, all that. The before would have been a phone call or a typed text to get to him, or an email. All that automation took all that load off him so he could keep working on the business. And we still use all that. I don't know that there's ever a reason to stop using all that automation. Even if you have an office of 100 people, I still don't want them to be sending texts like that. I want the system to do it. So,
yeah.
That's pretty much, that was the driver, is the manual method was not scalable, and too much was being dropped.
There's a lot of touch points, and then the human brain is very fallible, right? Like forget stuff all the time, and there's another fire to put out, and then, oh my God, you forgot about that quote that's sitting somewhere in the car. Oh, it just went out the window. Oh, exactly. I don't know. All right. Hopefully I get another customer, kind of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are some, you've been using Housecall Pro now for a while. You've seen the growth of the software for a while. Definitely Art has too, since 2018. That was a long time ago. Who knows? Back then we were maybe 30 people. Now we're much, much, much larger in an order of magnitude. what are some of the underrated Housecall Pro features? Some that maybe some people take for granted. I know you were just talking about the customer communication. I hear that one often, but like, what else about Housecall Pro is like, yeah, you don't really know. Like, you didn't buy it for this reason, but oh my god, now that I know that it does this, like, I could not live without it.
Yeah, I'd have to say in different industries beat us hands down. In our industry, service plans is not something
Mm-hmm.
the chimney industry is really good at. Some companies are forward scheduling and planning out. You should have an annual chimney inspection, so it's a no-brainer to fit for service plans. So we've started to roll it out. Still working on it, but I think that feature a lot of people just kind of push to the side. But I think there's very few industries I don't think could find some use for that. Even if all it is you don't even charge for the service plan, you do a zero cost one, which one of my
Mm-hmm.
other peers in the chimney industry told me that's how they're using it. That's how we started using it. It just as a reminder. Now
Mm-hmm.
it pops up and I go, okay, I need to call Susie and get that scheduled. Um, a lot of times people just don't think about all the stuff they should be doing in their house. I'm horrible about getting my AC serviced. If the company would be on a service plan and would just ping me, hey, we need to come out, I'd be, oh yeah, great. When can you do it? Um, so I say it's underrated in a lot of the industries, or overlooked. I know HVAC guys as a whole, HVAC industry is very good on service plans, and I've seen the comments some other people in certain industries, but to me, that's a great feature that's there. Use it. Find out how it fits for your industry and for your business.
I love that feedback because I think a lot of people are like, no, we don't do memberships. Like, that's a guru teaching, that's something something. And so I
Right.
feel like, and the real answer is, handyman can have it. It's just like an annual honey-do list. I come
Yep.
through, and every year I come by and do the things you don't want to do. Carpet cleaning, that should be on a service plan too. You need to get your carpets cleaned once every 6 months. So 2 times a year, put that on a plan. If it's normally $250 each time you come clean, say, look, for $400 a year, or just monthly, you just pay me $35 a month. That means your carpets are clean forever. You don't have to even think about it. Now just show up and clean your carpets. Like, it's things like that, like you're mentioning, is like, it can work in any industry. And the same way that Netflix came into Blockbuster and said, hey, we're going to make this a recurring subscription
Yep.
model. There's no reason home service businesses can't find ways to generate either recurring revenue or at least guaranteeing that customer is sticky to you and you're returning back
Yep.
year over year. And I think in your industry, definitely, it's a no-brainer. It makes total sense to me, even if it's zero cost and you're just heading out there and then you charge them something for the trip. There's always ways to bend and use the tools that we have, because the tools aren't perfect and neither are the processes completely, but use the things that you got to make life just a little bit easier, I think, is really, really good feedback.
And for any industry like ours that has really busy season, slower season, it's a good way to move your customer to a part of the year that you could use more business, and it makes sense for them. So they're not waiting weeks. They're not
Mm-hmm.
like, am I going to have it in time for Thanksgiving? Well, if you do it
Mm-hmm.
in May, one, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to worry about it in the end of the year. Plus, anything repairs you need to be done in time. So I think any industry that would love to shift some of their existing customers to a slightly different window so that they can spread the work out, that service plans are perfect for that too. You just
Yeah,
sign them up. Like, we're going to come in May. We're going to come in June. Or maybe you're slow in the winter. We're going to come in, December, when nobody's thinking about whatever that is. So,
that's right. Yeah, in computer side of things, it's just called load balancing. And
yep,
so you're just
exactly.
load
Yep,
balancing your customers to come in at the right time that is both good for them and good for you. And I think that's the key point, because there's always these win-win situations that you can set up for your business. What's something you wish you would have started with or earlier? Knowing what you know now, what Housecall Pro can do, what are some features, or what's like a process or a set of checklists or something that you feel like you wish you would have started sooner?
um, checklist is one of those. We use checklists, but we're still tweaking them and trying to get everybody to on the team to use them, because if you start them doing it from the get go, it's a lot easier than, I know you've been doing it this way, we're going to change it. And as feature wise, we held off a little bit getting pipeline, waiting to see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wish I'd have jumped right away on it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't even yet use all the features that has pipeline has, but just the estimate follow-up alone by itself more than pays for, the monthly fee to have pipeline.
Oh yeah.
It's cheap compared to having that automated for you. I mean, that's a process we've tried multiple times, and the manual follow-up just never worked for us. So just stuff gets dropped, like I said. Having the system do that follow-up, okay, yeah, I'll pay for that all day. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things of, I know people look and say, oh, it's an added feature, all that. Actually sit down and go, okay, let's say it closes one more job for you, 2 more jobs for you that month, 3 more, and sync how much you just paid for it and then some.
Yeah.
You kind of have to sometimes look at features of, okay, it's going to cost this much. How much am I going to return? You go, well, that's a no-brainer. Let's do it. So, and going back to service plans, I wish we would have started playing with those a long time ago. So we're not, again, we're at the trying to implement phase versus we could already had, guaranteed revenue every month for a long time now. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's the same thing. Like, I wish I would have started saving $100 a month when, I was 16, and I'd have millions and millions and millions of dollars, now, because it compounds over time. So much stuff when it comes to processes, software, all these things, they like compound over time, and it just starts to build for your business. Same like reviews. If you don't have your review stuff turned on in Housecall Pro to get reviews for in Google, like start now, please. Like the best time was yesterday. The next best time is just today, is now. And it's like, I promise you it'll pay off. It'll pay off for your business. This has been super cool. Do you have any closing thoughts or parting wisdom or anything you'd like to share? It could be personal too, with our audience.
Biggest thing I'd say is make the time to look through all the stuff that's being released that's out there and find the stuff that's going to fit for your business. I know there's a lot of stuff that took us a little while to even realize was there or to dig into it to see what it would do. There's a lot out there. It's hard to keep up with it. So make some time. In the end, it's worth the, your return on investment of that time spent looking, well worth what you're going to get on the back end.
That's helpful. Cool. Thank you so much for those helpful nuggets you shared with all of us today. Thank you for spending the time and hanging out with us. And then also thanks for using Housecall Pro and being a partner and giving us all your pro votes, your feedback, your involvement in the community. Really appreciate it, Brett. And
absolutely.
Thanks again.
The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.